This is I think it's Chapel matter. We have Mr. Anagnostu, we have Ms. Farr, we have Joe Chapel. Is it Chapel? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And do we have anyone else on that matter? Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask Ms. Farr, where are we at this point? I know on May 8th, we have it on for trial assignment.
That's correct. So I think there was some confusion today for today's hearing about what we were going to be here for. My understanding was Father wanted to have his visits addressed. I don't see him on here, but he filed a declaration, not a motion, and didn't cite it on. Ms. Chapel was attempting to address the full petition and get herself appointed. But now we have the trial assignment date set for that. And my understanding is that Mother is now agreeing to the guardianship. She just wants to work out what her visits are. So we need to discuss that off record with Mr. Anagnostu, I guess, and see if that is in fact the case. The only other thing that we need to do today that I'm aware of is that Ms. Chapel needs an extended temporary order to take her to the date of trial.
Anagnostu, anything that you can?
I have been attempting to reach my client and have been unable to do so. If Ms. Farr has better contact information than I have, we could talk after the hearing and I'll try to get a hold of her. This is the first time I've heard that she may want to consent, but again, I've been trying to reach her and have been unable to do so.
Miss Ray does not have a phone currently. The only time that we have communicated has been when she randomly calls from a borrowed phone.
Your Honor, I'm present, Jason Chapel.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Chapel, you had consented already, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I think at this point, there really isn't anything more to do today other than the court will fill out the extension of the emergency order. Because I don't know when the trial will be, I think what I'll do at this time is go ahead and let's see, we're on May 2nd. That's on for May 8th. Is go ahead and do an extension till I'm thinking June 27. Does that work for everyone? That should take care of when it gets to the time of trial.
I think that's fine. Are you setting an additional review date for that date then?
I'll go ahead and set a review date on that date. Just it can be stricken if the matter goes to trial prior to that. But at this point, I think I don't see anything else that needs to get done other than the trial. And so, Mr. Anagnostu, does that work for you?
I'm looking at my calendar, Your Honor, and it doesn't. I'm going to be out of the country that week. So if we could do the next one, I actually get back on the 28th.
Okay. The next one is a holiday. That's 4th of July. So
oh, it is.
I could go ahead and set to July 11.
That's preferred for me.
That works.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Chapel, yes?
I was just wondering if I can get visits I have recently finished a dynamic dads course and also had two clean UAs. So, and did a hair follicle.
And the problem is, Mr. Chappell, is I don't have any documentation, and that's the issue. And we really need to have some documentation and something in writing. I appreciate, that's great to hear, but for me to make changes, so I don't mind doing if you want to, what I call note it for docket, we can do that. Ms. Farr, I don't know if you have any thoughts at this point.
So the most recent UA that I was provided was positive. So I haven't received anything from Mr. Chappell saying that he's had anything, any clean UA since that one. And I do know that he was removed from the sober living place that he was at as well. So those are concerns. I don't think the visitation should be changed until we do have some documentation.
So, Mr. Chappell, basically what you're going to need to do is get your documentation together and get it filed with the court so that everyone can see it and it has confirmation. And you do what's called a note for docket, and you put it on the docket and give notice to everybody of what you want to do. Everyone has a right to be served notice of what your request is, and then we can talk about it. But just to have someone say it again, I appreciate that. At the same time, we need documentation. Okay. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you can always come to the clerk's office. They have documents that you can, I think you have to purchase for how much they are. Do you?
It's a 25 cents for a cover sheet for his.
Okay, 25 cents for a cover sheet. And I'm not sure what the others, but that's what you're looking at. And get those filed and get a copy to Ms. Farr. That's important as well.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and set this over by an extended emergency order to July 11. And then meanwhile, the matter will get set for trial. So Mr. Chappell, make sure that you are present on that May 8th date for the trial setting. So you're aware of that date. Okay.
Yes.
What time is the May 8th hearing?
Time that's not
It would be at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right. That's it for today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Your Honor. This is Vanessa Rowley, her mother.
Rebecca Beck, the petitioner.
And Your Honor, I'd like to let you know that I was in the courtroom last hearing, and I was put on mute when I first got into the meeting and was never taken off of mute. So I heard everything that happened, but I could not, I couldn't make any noise. So you guys didn't know I could respond. So.
Okay. So you need to understand that I mute everybody from the beginning because it's background noise. I can't have that for other hearings. So when it comes to your time of hearing, if you hit *69, then that will unmute you.
Okay, that is something that I did not know.
Okay, all right. All right, so we have Miss Beck, and we have Miss Day as well. We have Miss Looney. I think you're involved in this, correct, Miss Looney?
Yes, Your Honor. We just filed a notice of appearance recently.
All right. So I saw a motion for default as to the mother. I don't know if you, Ms. Beck, if you actually pursued that, Rebecca Beck?
Yes, I filed and then I filed the motion too. The motion and the order.
I have not received anything.
Okay, have you served those?
I was told to put them in the mail and I put them in the mail April 19th. I served them by mail.
Okay. All right. I didn't show that that was actually on for today. Did you submit them ex parte or how did you submit that?
I just submitted it to the court and they told me that it would be on file for you for today.
Okay. All
It
right.
is on in Odyssey, Your Honor, it shows.
Okay. Here's what you need to do.
Your Honor, I've objected
Stop
to
a minute. Stop. So here's what you need to do is call the note for motion docket. That way I know it's actually on. I saw it in the documents, but that doesn't necessarily mean that someone wants to pursue it or go forward with it. Okay. So, but meanwhile, so with that, let's go ahead and, so let me address Mom for a minute. Mom, I did not see any response to the petition.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand that. I have been having issues getting the type of paperwork sent to you guys, and because I live out of state. Plus, I'm also trying to figure out how to disestablish the alleged father on the birth certificate in order to file for the custody and whatnot in Oregon. They said it's something that has to be done. And so I was going to ask at the last hearing, which I couldn't because, like I said, I was on mute, but who it was that was starting the disestablishing Chadwick, which facility was doing it, because I haven't been able to track down where it was because I would have finished it. And so tracking that down has been almost impossible. And so I need that information in order to kind of continue doing what I need to do and file the paperwork. Plus, I am going to get a ride up there next week to file paperwork.
Okay, so first off, in regard to the disestablishment of the father, that's not through this kind of case. So you need to pursue that if that's what you're going to do, but that's a separate matter. It's irrelevant as to whether or not you have responded to the petition on the minor guardianship. So,
Your Honor, I
need you to listen first. So you need to respond to the minor guardianship. And if you don't, I'm going to find a default and the matter goes forward. I understand life is happening. You have things going on, but this case has to move forward as well. So at this,
and I absolutely
stop. So at this point, I'm going to set this case over 1 week to address the default. And if you haven't filed a response in that week, then I will grant the default.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So that takes care of that matter. Ms. Day, anything else, or where are we at this point?
So I was going to let Your Honor know that yesterday was the 60 days for father. He has been served. His 60 days was up. He has also not responded or appeared in this hearing at any time. Mother has appeared several times. She was served on December 15th, and she has not filed a response. She does continue to appear in court as she is today, indicating that she's trying to, but she's been ordered by at least 3 different judicial officers to file a response. And so I appreciate Your Honor giving her a deadline that she must file it, and this will be over 1 week. Otherwise we need to move forward. This child has been in a emergency status for almost 6 months and out of home for 8 months. So we need to be able to move forward at some point in this. That's what I have. I haven't had any further contact from Mom. I've reached out a couple of times with no response. I've not heard from father at all. and we need to be able to move forward. So if mom is going to respond, the sooner the better, so we can get set for trial. If not, then the default should be granted for both parents next week.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I have not received any other information from Tina.
I will mute you again if that's what I need to do, but I will address you when I address you. All right, Rebecca, have you filed the motion as it relates to the dad? I saw it as to mom.
Yes, Your Honor. I filed both of those the same day.
Okay, all right. So we'll address both matters next week. So Ms. Looney, anything from you?
No, Your Honor, we're just waiting for final orders so we can do the child support orders.
Okay. All right. So with that, again, I will set this matter over 1 week. That will be to May 9th. That will be at 10:30. And if neither mom or dad, depending, I'll find defaults. But I'll give you that week in regard to getting this done or your response in. If not, then we're looking to, like I said, order the defaults and move forward with the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's that? The immediate. Oh, the immediate, we'll go ahead and I'll extend it to next Thursday.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
My name is Alicia Renner. I'm here I'm one of the emergency guardians.
Mm-hmm.
The father is here, Rick Haycock.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else here on this matter? I was showing the Guardian of Litem. So on March 7, it was set over to today for review. I do not show a guardian litem has been appointed. Are either of you aware of a guardian litem being appointed?
A guardian, I'm not exactly sure what that is.
Okay, then I'm guessing not. So I was told that the system did show one had been appointed. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll be right back because I'm going to go and get a name for a guardian ad litem. I'll be right back.
What is that?
All right. I am back. Sherry Farr will be the guardian ad litem. So you know what a guardian ad litem does is they are appointed by the court to investigate, to determine the best interest of the child and make a recommendation to the court as to what should happen. So with that, Ms. Farr, do you want to provide your contact information to these individuals? We have Dad and Ms. Renner.
Yes. My phone number too.
Right. So that's the first thing. And Dad, I need to know from you, are you consenting to this minor guardianship?
Yeah, I'm consenting to what's best for the children at this time. I'm consenting to a short term of them while I get my ducks in a row.
Okay. All right. So when you speak to Ms. Farr, she can give you some direction. There's a form that you need to sign and file with the court. That's a consent. And then trying to see where we're at with service. This one. So I had 2 affidavits of service, and there was one that was filed. Let's see. Looks like they're both in here. Never mind, different case. And we do not, for the record, we do not have the mother here. So at this time, this is not under an emergency minor guardianship. Let's see, just the regular petition, I think, was filed. Oh, no, it's not. There is emergency.
There's
Okay.
no minor petition filed and the order for the emergency was granted at the last hearing.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, so that one was granted, and then they said we should fill out the packet for regular guardianship after this point. So we do have that, and we have to file and serve, but it's almost ready to go. I was looking to maybe speak to an attorney or something about that, just make sure I was doing it correct. I got the first packet done all right, but I just wanted to make sure what I was doing was correct as
Okay.
far as I know.
All right. So you do need to go ahead and get that filed. The emergency is in place, but it's only good for 120 days. And so that's that time frame that you need to make sure to watch out for. So stay on top of that, and I would get that filed as soon as possible.
It's almost ready to go either
Okay.
this week or next, so it's very, very soon.
Okay. All right. All right. As far anything that you can think of at this time that
I'm just looking through the filings that I see, and I don't see anything else that needs to be addressed. I'll get in touch with or both folks here on Zoom. As soon as they call me, I'll have a contact to reach them. And then we'll go forward with getting documents filed.
Okay. All right. And I just would ask, hold on, sir, just a sec. In regard to the service, well, no, strike that. Never mind. Yeah, sir, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering about seeing my children, maybe on some visits or supervised visits, whatever. I mean, I would like to just know if it was all right to call them, because I know on the motion or whatever that it says that there'd be no contact, but last court date, the judge said that I could talk to them and call them. But I'd like to see them also.
Ms. Marshall Renner,
Yes.
any objections to that, or what are your thoughts?
Well, he's actually called, and I like the way that he talks to them. He calls them and makes it about them, and has called a few times, so we're definitely okay with him still doing that. As far as visitation, we're kind of just trying to set that up because we're in Longview, they're in Vancouver, and last I knew, I personally don't talk to Ricky, but my husband does. And last I knew, they kind of did, the mom and dad didn't have stable places for us to bring him to. So we're just trying to work out logistics. We kind of played around with maybe coming into town to play at the playground with them. We just haven't figured out exactly how to make that all happen with our schedules. So I'm not opposed to trying to make that happen. It just
What if-
happened.
I'm sorry.
Currently, it hasn't happened as of yet. And as of Monica, I haven't heard from her at all. So, I mean, I know Ricky and Monica are separate when it comes to the, but I think that him calling is definitely okay. And he was calling a couple times a week, and that's still cool. They like to hear from him. And he does make it all about them when he calls, and it's a good interaction. So we're not opposed to that. We're
Right.
just trying
Thank
to
you.
figure out how and where because last we heard he didn't really have a place and Monica doesn't have a place, so just trying to make it safe place for the children to see him at.
So here's what I'm going to do. One, that's why the guardian litem is appointed, is to look into that and make a recommendation as to what she sees as appropriate. Sounds like there's not really an objection. So at this time, I don't know how long it's been since you've seen the kids or just everything that's behind that. What I would suggest at this time is if you can, if Dad can work with Miss Marshall Renner of maybe once a week to have a play date or on the, at a playground or something like that for a couple hours. They're a little bit older, so a couple hours probably works. And that way you can, get back in their lives basically and work on a good relationship. And I think that would work out pretty well to start with. So basically a monitored visit once a week for up to 2 hours at a local Cowlitz County playground area. Not real familiar with all the playgrounds, but something that the two of you can work out as to where. And then meanwhile, the guardian litem will be working on the case and maybe she'll look at something different. But at least for now, let's have some contact once a week. And then what I'll do is I want to give Ms. Farr some time to be able to make contact with people and see where things are at. So let's go ahead and set this over. Let's see, we're on the 2nd. How about May 30th? Ms. Farr, does that give you some time to at least do some preliminary?
Your Honor, I may be in trial that day. I have one scheduled the 29th that may spill over to the 30th. I think the 23rd would be okay.
All right, so May 23rd, but meanwhile, make contact with the guardian litem. She can get going on that. And, depending on what happens with mom, if she's been served, it may be a point where a default needs to be entered for mom, but I'll leave that up to you to do that process. Okay. All right. Anything else for today?
Just a small question. I just wanted to make sure that it was me and my husband are both petitioning together. And so I just wanted to make sure that it was okay if I come instead of him sometimes because he works on a point system at work. And so I don't know if he can get off every time, but if he has to, I can make that happen. But I was just curious as far as both of us coming to each court date.
Well, it's really helpful to have you both here just so I can make sure that everything's online. You're both petitioning. And so you can't really speak because you're not an attorney. You can't speak for him.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't want to hurt his work. And like today, it's really, there's not that much that's gone on. Other than just knowing that he's okay with what we talked about and what's going on to make sure that he knows those things. So that's the key thing. So he really does in many ways need to appear.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would also like to meet you.
What's
I
up?
haven't met you. I would also like to meet her and talk to her. I'd be okay with her even coming to the supervisor if he couldn't make it. Her coming supervised would be all right with me.
Okay. Well, at this point, it is monitored so that someone does need to be there. And I'm assuming the petitioners will be those folks that are going to be there. Does that work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So they will be there and they'll be staying there. So just so you know, it's not a time for you to just take the kids where you want to. It's to be at a agreed upon park or playground, and they'll be there to observe and watch. Okay.
I understand.
Okay. All right. That's it for today.
And one thing, I heard that the mother was actually in treatment. I don't know if she is or not, because I don't have no contact personally or talk to her on the phone. But I heard through, a couple parties that she was in treatment or whatever.
All right.
So,
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
That's it for today.
Alice Keller, the petitioner.
Anyone else on this matter? All right, so the first thing is I have an affidavit of service that did not have the name of the person that was served.
Yeah, I just talked to Sherry about that. I don't know why I didn't catch it, or the clerk at the courthouse didn't catch it, but it was for Sydney, the mom. So I have to go file it.
So you'll have to do an amended affidavit of service to have that information on there.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, looks like the parties have been served, but we'll just need that affidavit. And then Ms. Farr, you've been appointed, correct?
Correct.
All right. Anything that you can see at this point that needs to be done?
No, Your Honor. So I just made Alice aware of that issue this morning, and we have an appointment set up next week for our initial interviews and viewing the home. And the only other thing she has left to do is the training. So I think everything is where it should be right now.
All right. All right. So with that, I think what I'd like to do is, how much more time, Ms. Farr, do you think you need?
I would say, I was going to say 2 weeks, but I have the potential of a trial that week. I don't know if it will be scheduled for the 21st or the 23rd. Oh, that's going to be a problem. I would say let's set it for the 23rd, and then when I have that trial set, the readiness hearing for that trial for that week, I'll just tell them I can't do it the 23rd. Because it looks like I have several that day.
All right. Does that work for you?
Yeah, though I have to take more time off work, but that's fine.
Okay. All right. At this point, I just want to make sure and see whether or not the parties show up, make an appearance, and if not, then you can move forward on the defaults, and then we'll go from there. But for now, that's basically what I'm looking at. Okay.
I believe the service time would be up by the 9th, so then we could get the defaults and final orders entered the 23rd.
Okay.
I just had a question. Does Ms. Farr reach out to the parents at all, or how does that work? She's an advocate for the child, correct?
Well, she makes a recommendation to the court as to the best interest of the child. So that's what I'm looking at right now. If the parents don't choose to respond after they've been served, that's up to them. And so that's where we'll see it about a default before the 23rd. And if there is, then we'll address the final documents on the 23rd.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
That's it for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.